Hey guys, welcome back. So if you want an AI conversational bot that your customers are able to phone into and it A, understands your business, and B, is also able to fetch information that that client is specifically asking for. If that's what you're looking for or that's what you're interested, check this out.
Hi, you have reached Parcel Plus. I'm Bob. How can I help you today?
Hi there, can you track a shipment for me, please?
Of course, I can help you with that. Could you please provide me with the tracking number for your shipment?
1234567891012.
I found the tracking information for your shipment with the tracking number 1234567891012. Currently, the status is delivery exception. A request was made to change the delivery date. The last event occurred on May 23rd, indicating a failed delivery attempt. Prior to that, your package was picked up on May 16th and has been in transit since. If you have any further questions or need assistance with anything else, feel free to ask.
Sorry, so when was it failed, the delivery?
The delivery attempt was marked as failed on May 23rd. If you need more details about the status or anything else, just let me know.
When did it leave the origin?
Your shipment was picked up and left the origin on May 16th. If you have any other questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask.
When did it arrive in the United States?
The tracking information does not specify the exact date when the shipment arrived in the United States. However, it indicates that the package was on its way and available for clearance in Anchorage, Alaska on April 23rd. If you need more details or have other questions, I'm here to help.
That's amazing. Thanks. So yeah, that is super cool. What it is and how it's working is I'm using this app called 11 Labs. We're set up first to do voices. So I think it was a natural pivot for them to move into this conversational AI space. And yes, FYI, maybe some of you picked it up. I did train it a little bit on my voice, so it sounds like I'm talking to myself. I didn't spend all that much time training on it, but I'm working on that for a separate video. So A, if you're interested in cloning voices, or B, you want a conversational bot, 11 Labs is definitely something for you guys to look at. So how this works is within 11 Labs, you're able to set up a agent. And each agent you can, of course, I was just using the test internal widget now to demonstrate that call, but you could also connect it to a real phone number. So I do have it connected to a phone number at the moment. I'm using Twilio, and I had that set up already. I'm not going to do that in this video, but just buy a number on Twilio or Twilio, whatever it's called, and it's super easy. It's like to get the code from Twilio, paste it in, and you're connected. And then that means you have access to phone from any country, a real phone number, and get connected to this thing. So what I'm going to show you is like some of the settings within agent and voice and analysis security advanced widget. They are what I would consider advanced settings where you are able to access things like call logs. You're able to make rules, things like that, pre-authenticate your users for outbound calls. There's some more settings. So I'm not going to cover those. But for what we did, I only really dabbled in agent and voice. Of course, you can change the first message. There is heaps of languages that this works in, and obviously the AI understands pretty much every language. You do have to give it a system prompt, and very basic here, nothing super complicated. You're able to use and add some variables to that. You would be able to greet the customer by their own name. There's lots of different things that you're also able to do. But even something like small, having the system time will allow the bot to understand, like, hey, the shipment was just delivered yesterday. So maybe they would start saying, your parcel was attempted to be delivered yesterday, because otherwise, without a system time, it actually doesn't know what time it is at any time during the phone call, unless you tell it, hey, it's May 15th, whatever the date is today, and then it can have some perspective or a point on that. So anyway, you can obviously select your LLM. Then you can change things like temperature just to see, how the LLM responds. Very importantly is this section over here, and I'm going to stop over here. This is where you can upload your RAG information. So if you wanted to have a support agent that understands all the products on your website, you would add all of this documentation in here. You have obviously have ability to add files, PDFs, you can add URLs, you can create your own things. So that would be where you would upload just your entire specific business data set. And that's where the LLM will first check for answers. And if it doesn't find it there, it's going to obviously look in its own internal knowledge. So I added things like opening hours, closed on what public holidays, public hours, business phone numbers, website, average shipping durations, emergency contacts, a whole bunch of extra just like text-based business information, banking details. Though I'd probably actually thinking about it now, maybe it's not the safest thing to have your AI dishing out your banking details. Of the times I tested it, it was actually perfect. So those are kinds of maybe the general questions that your business is getting, and that the bot can pre-answer. And then of course you have a lot of rules where you can set it like, hey, if the customer says this, redirect it here, and that's how it's going to get redirected to a real human. So that's the RAG. Very, very powerful. And then, of course, the most powerful is how I connected it to the tracking system. So you're able to make inbound and outbound API calls. And I used a API called Ship24. It is a paid thing, but I think you get 100 free trackings per month. And you are able to track just about any parcel. So that tester one I did was FedEx. This is a little bit more about how it works. I put it in the description. The courier code is set, but you could change that up to FedEx, DHL, any sort of major UPS tracking thing. And then you can also have over here, this is where it gets the number, and you can obviously give it any number. And then I had to be very specific to put in the number, not with like dashes, spaces, special characters, things like that. So then it understands whatever number you give it, it will put it in place of this string here, the tracking number, and it sends the API call, and that is sent over, brings back the information, then interprets it. That's how I was able to ask, like, when did it leave the origin? When did it? Because the tracking data that comes back is quite sufficiently comprehensive. I did add in some extra tools over here. You can ask it about the news, and then obviously you can add certain things like what it would need to do if it wants to end the call, things like that. You can add those in. Further at the bottom, you have secrets. I'm not going to go in there. That's just where you save some connection information for your API calls. Then under voice, this is the beauty of 11 Labs. You're able to select pretty much any voice. I trained my own. For curiosity, Flash helps with latency. You can then, of course, optimize for latency or for quality, depending on where you are. If you're having customers, like I did find in that call, there was like a little bit of lag, probably while it was doing the API call. I don't know if that could be sped up. Maybe that's probably something to do with Ship24 being on the free plan. It's probably not prioritizing requests. But it's way faster than a human would take to go and look up a tracking number anyway. So you can also change stability, speed mainly of the voice. Furthermore, you get a dashboard with all your calls that have been in, outbound calls, success rate, LLM costs, credits used, and at the moment, I'm actually only paying for 11 Labs. I think it's about $22 a month. Yeah, so I signed up for this plan, $22 a month. And technically, if it is able to, this is hundreds of calls that it's able to handle. And theoretically, you should be saving money depending on, what you're paying support staff to answer questions about your business. But a lot of small businesses out there are probably either the owners are doing it themselves, or they have even at a student rate for someone to be on standby all the time, or it's taking away from someone who has another job to do. So it's pretty cool, pretty affordable, and I was very surprised at how easy and quick it was to set up. I've always been super interested in text to speech, and then to add a conversational AI and then connect it to all these different resources is super powerful. And yeah, if you guys want to check it out, make sure to use the link below. It will help support the channel. And otherwise, till next time, cheers, guys.